Hi guys, and welcome to the Thompson Family YouTube channel.
Woo!
Thank you so much for tuning back in, guys. We have a great video for you today. In today's video, we are going to be talking about how to waive the 2-year
residency rule on your J1 visa.
Yeah, so if you are subject to that rule, you definitely want to make sure that you keep on watching this video. Also, make sure that you share it because sharing is caring, and you definitely want to help somebody who is trying to waive it and stay in America. So we just went through this process with Jerome, literally, so this information is going to be relevant, it's going to be useful, and it's going to be educational, okay? So without further ado, we're going to get right into the video.
And remember, we have a lot of nuggets to drop, so make sure you stay tuned to the video.
Yes. Alright, so we're going to start with Jerome's story about him on the J1 visa, how many years he's been doing it, and a little bit about his school and everything, so go ahead.
Okay, so I did the J1 visa from 2016 up to 2019. That's the summer J1 work and travel. But however, in 2021, I did the J1 internship program, right? So I came to the USA on the J1 visa for agriculture, right? So I went to Alaska. That's where my job was at the time, right? And when I came here, I realized that I have a 2-year rule on my visa. Okay, so I didn't know what it was, so I was a little bit worried, and Jada said that I should get it waived. And I
do want to point out that in order for you to stay and adjust your status in America, you have to waive the 2-year residency requirement. And what the residency requirement basically says is that you have acquired these skills on your internship or on the program, so you need to go back to your home country and make sure that you contribute, right?
You contribute back to your country.
Right.
Nation development, right?
They don't want you to come over here. Well, I'm not going to say they don't want you to, but the point of the rule is that they don't want you to come here, get all the skills, stay here, and better this economy without giving back to
your country,
your home country.
Right.
Okay.
So, after she said that I need to get it waived, right? We did a consultation with a lawyer, right?
2 consultations. Yes.
And they were charging a hefty sum. Yeah. Really hefty sum. So Jada said that she could handle it. So I was like, okay, knowing her, she can handle business well. So I entrust her to do it while I was in Alaska. She was here in Virginia, and she did the application online, right? She did the application online. I was a little bit worried if everything was going all right and everything was going fine. So she did it, and she sent it off to the Jamaican embassy. She sent off the application. It was 2 applications, right? 2 applications. So one to Jamaican embassy and one to the U.S. Department of State. That's in Missouri.
Okay. Now, I do want to let you guys know there are different ways that you can waive the residency requirement, right? So the first way, the way that we did, is the No Objection Statement, and that's basically when your home country says, and in our case, when Jamaica says, we don't have an objection for Jerome to stay in America, right? And the second way is to be requested by an interested U.S. federal government agency, like if you have a job with them. The third is you fear for persecution in your country in terms of like your religious beliefs or something of that nature. The fourth is an exceptional hardship to a U.S. citizen, spouse, or child. And that is if you were to leave your U.S. family, then they will go through like a considerable amount of, hardships. Losing their place that they live, going without food. Basically, they're going to be subjugated to poverty. And then the last way is that you can request but you can be requested by a designated state public health department. Okay, so we didn't do those last 4 ways. We did the first way, which is the no objection statement.
And that's the easiest way.
Yeah,
in our case, it
was the easiest way.
And the best one to do.
Yes. So, like Jerome was saying, you have to do 2 applications. The first is with the U.S. Department of State. The second is with the Embassy of Jamaica. Now, it is important to note that based on where you are living in the U.S., where your U.S. home address is,
every state has their own jurisdiction.
Yes.
What does that mean is that, say for instance, I'll give you an example. I was in Alaska, right? And my jurisdiction is in Washington, D.C., where we're currently at right now.
Yes.
So, say for instance, you live in New York, you would have to send your documents to the New York consulate. If you're living in Florida, you have to send your application to the Miami consulate. Yes. So you have to do your research, guys. Research is very important. Yes. In this case.
And it's also important to note that, like, let's say that your spouse is living in a different state than you are. Like mine was in Alaska, but I was here in Virginia. It doesn't go based on where I am, that the jurisdiction that you are. It's based on where your spouse is working and during their J1 program, and that's something that I had to find out by the Jamaican Embassy, even though it was the same one anyway, but you still have to make sure, right? So let's go ahead and let's get into the steps for completing the no objection statement. So like Jerome said, you do 2 applications, one to the U.S. Department of State in Missouri, and the second is to whatever, to the Jamaican Embassy, right? So Jamaica will then forward your application to
the Ministry of Finance in Jamaica, right? And the Ministry of Finance in Jamaica will send this application to the scholarship unit. What the scholarship unit does, basically, they will check to see if you have any outstanding debt. Like, say for instance, student loan. If you take any student loan from the Student Loan Bureau, they will not grant you this this offer, because if you have an outstanding amount, right, they will not grant you it. So what I will advise, why? Because you have money owed to the government. So they don't want you to, like, you know, forget about them. They want their money.
Yeah.
So you have to come back. So they will penalize you for that. You have to ensure that you pay your cost, right? So if you do, you can pay the money, pay your debt, and then now you will get a letter from Student Loan Bureau, and that you will attach it to your application. It's always best to wait, pay it off, and then you attach it to your application, because you don't want anything to hinder you from them denying your application. Right.
Yep. So, and Jerome actually knows someone who had student loans from Jamaica. They tried to do the no objection statement, and they unfortunately were denied.
Denied, right?
Yeah. So it's only fair if you borrow the money, then you have to pay it back, right?
Right.
And they want to make sure, like, yeah, you got all the benefits. Now you need to pay back your country. Okay. So in terms of the U.S. application, what you have to do is, it's online first of all, and you fill it out, and then a filled out form is printed for you with your information.
And also it gives you a barcode. So what the barcode is, and they will give you a barcode, and they will scan it and see that you have filled out this application, and they will do whatever they need to do inside. Yeah. Inside job. So
the first thing you do, again, is fill out the form online. The form is DS-3035. Again, that's DS-3035. And you have to put how you're applying. So on there, you're going to select the option no objection and put your information in, right? Then you will get a case number. And this is very important, guys, because that's how you track the progress of your application.
Right.
And if you have to speak to any relevant authorities or agencies, you have your case information. So make sure you
Yes, so always, no matter what, if you're going to inquire about your case, right, you always want to ensure that you put your date of birth and also the case number. The case number is what they use to track the application. You can't inquire about your application without your case number.
Yeah.
It is very important, guys.
Very. So once you do all of that, then you're going to be able to print out the packet, and the first page, like Jerome said, is going to have that barcode, okay? And you're going to need that barcode for your application with the Jamaican Embassy. So you mail the packet with your letter stating...
And supporting documents.
Yes. And you have to write a letter to the U.S. Department of State indicating why you want your waiver to be granted, right? So when I wrote our letter, I said, you know, basically, Jerome Thompson, here's my qualifications, here's the years that I've gone onto this program. I am now married to my U.S. citizen wife, Jada Brown, and these are my plans, right? It's simple. It was one page, I think, maybe one and a half.
One page, right?
Yeah, it was one page. You don't want anything long and drawn out. You're not writing a novel. Like, the people who are reading it are people too. They have to go through so much paperwork. They don't really care. They just need the letter saying, this is why I want it, and here's why I think I deserve it. And, I mean, guys, you can honestly use ChatGPT for this and just put in, like, one sentence to ChatGPT, write a letter to the U.S. Department of State, blah, 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 and it will compute it for you. So don't even stress about that.
Right.
All right. Now, so you have your packet for the U.S. Department of State. Now we're moving on.
Right.
Okay.
So after, as I said before, when you send the application to Jamaica, they will send it to the Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of Finance will send it to the scholarship unit.
Yes.
Right? And they will oversee that everything is going well, you don't have any outstanding debt or anything like that sort. And what they will do, they will send it back to the Ministry of Finance.
Yeah.
Right? And then the Ministry of Finance will send it back to the U.S. consulate. Right? And then you can also reach out to the the Jamaican consulate in Washington, D.C. or wherever your jurisdiction is. So it's always best to do your Google research. You can also chat with the Ministry of Finance with a live chat feature. So say for instance you go on Google and you research Ministry of Finance Jamaica. There's a section there that you can chat with them. You don't have to call. As I said before, it's always important that you put in your case number. So always use your case number whenever you're trying to inquire about the application.
You want to mention what you need for the application for the Jamaican Embassy in DC or whatever your jurisdiction is. The first thing is you need your letter requesting no objection. Now, you can use the same information that you use for the letter to the U.S. Department of State, but you're just going to change the address line, and you just have to change a few things and say to Jamaica, hello, you know, Jamaican Embassy. The reason why I want to stay in America is because of XYZ. I plan to adjust my status. Here's why, etc. Then you need a copy of your most recent DS 2019
form, right?
Yeah.
Say for instance you have previous DS 2019 forms. You can send those as well.
Yeah.
So you want to make your case strong as best as possible,
yeah,
so you don't get denied.
Yep. Then the next thing that you need is your copy of your data page of your Jamaican passport.
Your biographic page.
Yeah. Right.
Correct.
Okay, and then the next thing you need is a copy of your TRN card or your Jamaican driver's license.
Right.
Next, you need your I-94. You need a copy of your birth certificate. You need your updated resume. And make sure that you include this internship program or your J1 work experience on that resume, because you're trying to adjust your status and get the waiver based on that job. So make sure that it's included in your resume. And also put in your secondary education. Make sure that you include the college that you're at, because that's the whole way that you got onto this program. And then you're also going to need a copy of the barcode from the application that you did with the U.S. Department of State.
Right.
Okay?
And you're also going to need the current visa the current J1 intern visa. So
Yes.
you also need a copy of that to make your case more, strong.
And then you also need a money order, and this has to be an international money order, which you can get at the U.S. Postal Service or really anywhere. And it has to be in the amount of $50, and it's made out to the Accountant General of Jamaica. And then you're going to send all this information, and you're going to send that to the Embassy of Jamaica, and the address is 1520 New Hampshire Avenue, Northwest, Washington, D.C., 20036. Once you do that, it takes about 3 to 4 months. That's what they say. How long did yours take?
So basically, mine take about 6 months, right? 6 months from the application date. So I sent my application in February of 2022, and I received back my response from the U.S. Department of State in August of 2022. But however, they have to send you a letter, right? They have to send you, I think it's they have to send you a form, say yes, they receive your application, and they have to send you a approval notice, because this is what you're going to use to adjust your status. Without this paper, you're not going to be able to adjust your status.
And this happened to one of Jerome's colleagues. They had the residency requirement, and they still tried to adjust their status to a permanent resident. And they were like, no, sorry, but you have to do the waiver first and then come back and adjust the status. So this is a really critical component of adjusting your status. You definitely want to make sure that you get this done, because you don't want to go back to your home country and wait, right?
Right.
And one important thing that you should know is that we are talking about Jamaica in our case. So, Jamaica can be a little
bit slow.
Yeah.
Right. A little bit slow. So you want to send in your application ahead of time. So,
and I'm sorry, not to cut you. You also want to make sure that you have copies of everything, and that you complete it accurately the first time, because if they have to send it back to you for any reason, that's just going to hold up your process. And like Jerome said, you definitely want to work on this early before your
program ends.
Yeah, before the program ends.
Right. So say as soon as you get here, you have the 2-year rule. You want to get it out the way as quick as possible. And I forgot to mention, guys, whenever you're sending the application, ensure that you sign the application. Because in my case, I forgot to sign the application, and I tried to call the embassy, and they said yes, they received the application, but I had to flew from Alaska, come to DC, and go up to the embassy, and then I asked them about my application, and they said that the reason why I didn't hear back from them is because I didn't sign the application. So they print out the part of my application that I did not sign, and I signed it there in the embassy, and that's when they released my document to Jamaica. So I had to wait a longer time than expected.
Yeah. And that was my fault. I forgot to sign it on his behalf because he was in Alaska. And I do want to point out that it is kind of hard to get them on the phone or by email.
Right.
So you really have to be consistent. In our case, we were blessed because, we do live in Northern Virginia. We're in DC now, and we can just go up to the embassy. But I do understand that not everybody has that opportunity. So I really want to impart to you to ensure that you follow up, you put your case number. Do not give them a reason to prolong your application, like I didn't sign it. Don't give them a reason to deny you because you didn't put all the information. Sometimes I like to say it's better to put too much and let them say we don't need it than to skimp on details, and now your program has ended and you're here out of status in the U.S., and that could cause some other issues.
Yes, a lot of issues.
Yeah.
A lot of issues. So you want to ensure that you get your application right. Just get it right the first time. Hit it on the nail. Get it right.
Watch this video when you're doing it.
Right.
And so once he got the no objection statement issued by the Ministry of Finance, the Scholarship Bureau, they told the embassy in DC, the Embassy of Jamaica. Then the Embassy of Jamaica then issued their no objection to the U.S. Department of State. And once that was issued, 1 month later, the waiver was granted.
Right. So you guys can reach out to me, reach out to me for any information. Right. I am here. I'm here to help or assist any of you guys that are trying to waive your 2-year rule that is on your visa. You can always reach out to us.
Yeah, reach out to him because he's been through this process. And
I can tell you as well, the process is very, very frustrating. It's very, very frustrating. So, as I said before, guys, just do your research.
Yes.
Do your research. There's a lot of information that is out there. And, you know, some persons you try to say, don't listen word of mouth. No. Please don't. Don't listen to word of mouth.
Listen to people who have done it. Because you know something? Jerome has a cousin, right? And I'm not going to call his name.
Right.
But his cousin was like, no, man, you don't have to worry about it. You can get a job as long as you have a social. Don't worry about it, right? And no, that's not how it works. You want to make sure you do things the proper and the legal way.
Right.
Because then you want to be here and you don't want to have any problems. And let's say in the future you were able to adjust your status and they look back and say, man, you've been working illegally for all this time. So you don't want any of that. And like I said, it may be frustrating, yes, but just do it the right way.
Just do it.
Now we have some tips for you. This Jerome is going to take over this part because I don't know much about this, okay?
Okay, so I'll have 2 tips for you guys, just for you guys to enlighten your darkness on this. So, say for instance, your case is taking longer than expected, right? What you can do, you can reach out to your local congressman or congresswoman and ask them for help. Ask them for help because they can assist you, and I'm pretty sure they will assist you, right? So, and as I said, you want to write a letter, use your case number, give them a date of birth, give them any relevant information that you think it's possible to help your case or to make your case stronger, right? And also, you can reach out to persons on Facebook. There's a lot of Facebook groups out there, right? You have the J1 visa waiver group. Lots of persons from around the world. Persons who are in the same situation as you. You know, you can reach out to them. You can send them a message. You know, and if you're not sure, you can, as I said before, you can always reach out to us, and we can assist you with your application.
I also have a tip of my own. And so like I told you guys before, we did do 2 separate consultations for the waiver, right? And both of those consultations were $150 US. And basically, both consultations were basically like, okay, you have the 2-year home residency requirement. You have 2 options. Either you can waive it or you can go home. So, of course, we chose to waive it, and the lawyer was basically like, yeah, well, we can complete the application for you. It's a very tedious process. You know, it's so long, etc. And we're going to charge you $4,000, right? And this $4,000 does not include the money that it takes to do the adjustment of status to get the permanent residency card. So I'm like, man, that's kind of steep, you know what I mean? Because at this point, we were just newly married.